Lawmakers say they want the way crash tests are done to change to make cars safer for women. This comes after a recent report from our National Investigative Team and D.C. Bureau that proved women are going unaccounted for in some of the most critical crash tests.
In the last month, both parties in the House and Senate began taking up the issue. Our chief White House correspondent, John Decker, spoke with those leading the charge to correct the collision division.
5-star safety ratings. You see them advertised, the measure of how well a car, truck, or van will withstand a crash. But our investigation found that the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, bases the majority of those ratings on 5'9", 170-pound male crash test dummies. In the test for the two most common kinds of crashes, the male dummy is the driver and the female dummy is a passenger. This is despite data showing female drivers are 73% more likely to be badly injured and up to 20% more likely to be killed in a crash, and that there are more women licensed to drive than men. Just 1 week after our story aired, the top Republican on the House Subcommittee on Consumer Safety and Commerce, Congressman Gus Filarakis, who we spoke to as part of our investigation, raised the issue during a hearing on automobile technologies.
I have seen recent reports where gender is not reflected during these crash safety tests. I believe that physiological differences between a man and a woman must be considered to rectify gaps that may exist within these safety standards.
1 week after that hearing, the chairwoman of the Highways and Transit Subcommittee, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, who we also interviewed as part of our investigation, announced that she would introduce legislation that would mandate that NHTSA update its vehicle crash testing standards.
I'm going to particularly press this bill forward. I can see no reason why it wouldn't get strong support in the House and the Senate.
Is it fair to say, Congresswoman, that our investigation is the impetus for your legislation?
Probably so. I wasn't even aware of this difference until your investigation showed that it existed.
Many women don't know that difference exists either, and that they could be at greater risk behind the wheel.
That's something I never would have thought of, because when you hear safety standards and that a certain car might be safer or sitting a certain way is safer, you're thinking that that's for anyone who's driving. You don't think it's only for for men as opposed to women. You don't think about that, and so it's very misleading.
The strong reaction to our story quickly extended to the Senate side of the Capitol, where bipartisan legislation has just been introduced by Democratic Michigan Senator Gary Peters and Republican Nebraska Senator Deb Fischer. Their legislation, known as the Fair Crash Tests Act, would order the Government Accountability Office, Congress's watchdog agency, to evaluate NHTSA's failure to equally use crash test dummies that represent women drivers. The bill would also require the GAO to compare NHTSA's practices to other safety rating programs, such as in Europe, and to evaluate options for strengthening the agency's vehicle safety testing to reduce gender-based disparities in car crash outcomes. Still no reaction from NHTSA, which through a spokesman declined our repeated request to answer our questions about what lawmakers from both parties are calling an unacceptable gender inequity.
Filarakis and Florida Democrat Kathy Castor joined Norton, filing the House version of the Fair Crash Tests Act. They say they're confident it will move through the process quickly.
Hot night for everyone at Newman Outdoor tonight. Highlights from the Red Hawks and Gold Eyes are next.